Good evening, everybody. Today I'll be talking about my book, which is a poetry book, English poetry book, based on the Kathopanishad. I wouldn't call it a translation of the Kathopanishad because that is very extensive. I have tried to render the Kathopanishad into poetry. This is the my book cover, which you can see. And this cover has been painted by my colleague, Dr. Shrikar Balasundaram, who is a cardiac surgeon at St. John's. I'm a cardiologist at St. John's. I only write poems in my leisure. This book, I'm thankful to Writers Capital Foundation, who brought out this book in such a nice way. And I'm also extremely thankful for the fertile brains and Prasanna Kumarji, who has given me this honor and opportunity to present my book here amongst your uh, honorable people. So I would like to say that this is not a translation. I reiterate this and I say that it's only poetry. So I have tried from the beginning. This is the story which everybody is familiar about. This is a story of Nachiketa, and Nachiketa, whose father is a sage, and he is conducting a sacrifice where he gives all old, very famished cows who are of no use, who are not able to give any milk. He gives these cows as done for the eminent sages who also attend his sacrifice. So the boy feels that this is not right because whatever you give should be the best. You should give the best of the things to everybody. So he not right. So to whom are you going to give me? So in utter anger and frustration, the father says, I'll give you to the god of death, Yama. So this boy doesn't want he doesn't want his father to incur demerit, nor does he want anything to go in vain. So he goes straight away to Yama's abode and he stays there. And Yama is out of his abode. For 3 days he stays without food, without water, without sleep. So on the fourth day, when Yama comes back, he realizes that he has made a Brahmin sage, an ascetic, and a young boy wait like this. So he asks him for three boons. So the first boon he asks is his father should be devoid of anger by the time he goes back. He grants him. The second boon he asks is about how to make the sacrificial fire. That also he grants him. The third boon he asks is about the secret of life and the secret of death and beyond death. So for that, the Lord of Death says, I cannot give this to you. So many intelligent people, so many gods, they have all tried to get this from me, but I will not share this with you. Why do you want this? So he tries to throw a lot of, temptations in his way, saying, I'll give you land, I'll give you kingdoms, I'll give you women, I'll give you wealth. You take that, you be happy, you'll have plenty of children, you'll have this, you'll have that. But the boy is very steadfast and he says, I want only that truth because all these things are temporary. So he realizes that this boy is a true seeker. He is not somebody who just wants to know something to use it in a different way. So on realization that he is a true seeker, he gives him the knowledge of life, of the Brahman, everything. So, one of these things about the sun god I have said, I can just read out this passage to you. Blemishes external, never the sun taint, transcendental sorrows, worldly, unchained, peace eternal, when intellect hones discriminant, surrender to self as mind's controller prominent. So this comes in the invocation where I've spoken about the Upanishads and about how Upanishad means shaking them from the roots. That is, shaking all the attachments from the roots and getting rid of that. It also means sitting near and talking to the disciple, but mainly it means shaking them out of the roots and roots of attachments, worldly attachments. So, how he speaks about this is Upanishad, a trisyllabic word of pregnant knowledge, a seeker's sword, that which cleaves ignorance worldly, permits seekers to approach knowledge boldly. So, this is the gist of the Upanishad. And in this, he also says that once you are unfettered from virtue and vice, that you don't keep as virtue and vice, when you shed ignorance and desire in a trice, which is very difficult, a loosening of roots worldly, that is the roots which are attached to these things of ignorance, desire, and then of attachments to life's miseries greatly. These are termed as life's miseries and to which we are attached. And to get rid of that, you have to read the Upanishad. That's what he says. And once you read the Upanishad and once you gain the knowledge, it says, purged of qualities worldly, delighting in knowledge reams, delving into the origins of fire, of origin primordial beyond life's fire. Now, there is another, this when he asked the second boon, knowledge of fire he asked as his boon second, of faith intense he bore sans pretense, that fire the way to heaven, that which supports the world as a beacon. So that is what he asks, and he gives him that. Then he says, the fire of realization supreme, Yama says this, shall be known as Nachiketa's fiery beam. He bestowed a necklace of gems variegated, depicting multitudes of deeds truncated. He gives him a gem, a necklace with gems which are multiple. Variegated means they are very different from each other, and they depict the multitudes of deeds that we do, and they are truncated into gems. That's what he means. So he asked for his boon third to know about death's shrouds, alludes to the doubt eternal, to existence beyond death's pyre infernal. So death perceived as a rite of passage, of existence beyond to a non-existence gauged. On dying, the self from the body, senses and intellect distinct, the self into another body connects succinct. So similarly, he says, ask any other boon third, force not like a creditor a hanging sword, and not for this which is subtle and which is an unfathomable abyss. So he says, don't ask for this; it's unfathomable. It is you're holding me like a creditor with a sword hanging on my head. Don't ask me for this. So then he says that when he finally imparts these things, there is a small passage which I like to read. He says, taught by preceptors lofty, that is, this knowledge of the Brahman, syllables mere in vibrations frosty, like when somebody is teaching you and you're just, by hearting what they're saying. Comprehension elusive to scholars erudite. So even if scholars are so erudite, the comprehension of the Brahman is elusive. Intellect swathed in desires dark as night. So that means their intellect is still swathed in desires, which are actually light and dark here means that dark is ignorance and light is knowledge beyond all this. So then he says, then he sort of tells him what is his soul. So he says, soul within to perceive formidable, concealed in knowledge worldly scrutable, in its subtlety extreme, its home in the intellect upstream. Then comprehending the self true within, differing widely from the coil mortal therein. So that means you're differing the soul from the mortal coil. Intellect blossomed in an enlightened arc. So in delight, uplifting into a supreme spark. So he says, devoid of attributes, that is, you cannot, qualify or quantify the soul. Devoid of attributes, it glows as a medium and symbol for highs and lows. In its supreme form, recognized by intellect in a tumultuous swarm. So smaller than the smallest, in form subtle, greater than the greatest, in each heart nestled, intellect from worldly desires withdrawn, tranquil joy in the sense spawns. So only then will the tranquil joy spawn inside. So when this state is achieved through penance honorous, a state unerring, seemingly wondrous, clay shaped as a pot paired, carries earth's essence within shared. Then death does not approach, encircled by truth unencroached. Paths lead from heart central in several directions centripetal. Away they lead onto desires ephemeral, where death resides in coils mortal. So when you identify yourself with the Supreme, then there is no death doesn't come to you because you realize that the Supreme Soul is one with God. So finally, he says, freed from virtue and vice, ignorance and desire, the lad attained the self, the ultimate fire. So, with this, I'd like to conclude my uh, introduction or talk about this book. It is something which has fascinated me, and due to which I have written these poems. And I hope to for people to more people to read and absorb it and enjoy it. So thank you very much, Prasanna ji, and thank you very much, Fertile Brains, for having given me this opportunity, this wonderful opportunity for having to present my book in front of this august audience. Thank you.